Hey everybody, this is Martin John. We are talking Tao of the Day. This is the Tao of the Day, the Tao Te Ching. If you have a number between 1 and 81, please join me and we can chat all about the Tao. The Tao stands for the Tao Te Ching translates to the canon of reason. This is all about trying to live a reasonable life and be reasonable with others and yourself. If you have a number between 1 and 81 you want to join, please give, hit that little button with the microphone and join me up here on stage, and we can break down one of the Tao for you. The Tao is always a nice little magical sort of experience where any number that you pick, the number that's your calling to pick, or your favorite number or whatnot, you can you can find insight in everything that the Tao has to offer. So many people out there that I have talked with, like, these are just very insightful and open for each and every one of us to learn a little something from. And so what I like to do is chat with you a little bit and then have you pick a number. Then I will read through your Tao for the day, and from there we'll go through it line by line. Excuse me, I had a little burp. I was just drinking a little kombucha before I got on here. So yeah, I'm looking at the number 40 for myself. So maybe we'll start there and see if anybody else wants to jump on and pick a number. So we'll start here with 40. Oh, this is really, really short. It's only 4 lines. Return is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being. Being is born of non-being. Return is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being. Being is born of non-being. I am going to actually take that to another translation because not sure. I know a great way, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pick one of these translations at random. Tao Huang. I'm going to be looking at the Tao Huang translation. When was this translated? 1948. This was translated in 1948. Tao moves by returning. Tao functions by weakness. All things under heaven are born of being, and being is born of non-being. I like that the Tao moves by returning. I do like that. The Tao moves by returning. And I think this is like, if so, these 4 lines is chapter 40. I haven't covered this chapter or this verse yet. So if you have thoughts on this verse, please join me, and we can chat about this. Tao moves by returning, and I think this is like returning to quiet, right? Returning to a space of quiet, returning to a space of being in your body, right? Returning to the body, going out to the manifestation and then returning to the body. And when you return to the body, you are moving in line with the Tao, right? So Tao moves by returning. It's not advancing. It's not always trying to get somewhere. It is returning. And this is really beautiful for me right now because I'm experiencing something in my life right now that seems like it's going away, but the Tao, as this speaks, it's like the Tao is returning, and by being in line with the Tao, I know that there is a return to that center, a return to that focus, right? Like we get caught up in the manifestation and we go out, but then through the Tao and through the experience of living through the Tao, we return, and we return to that core, we return to that center, right? So the Tao moves by returning. This is really enlightening for me, and really, really, really This is really energizing as well, because I'm thinking about this and I'm feeling very, very alive right now with this idea. Like the Tao moves by returning. That's such a beautiful way of looking at it. I don't know if any of you resonate with that, but the Tao moves by returning. The Tao functions by weakness, and this again is, really poignant to this experience that I'm currently going through, and this idea that, like, functioning by weakness, this is you function by yielding, and that was what Stephen Mitchell said, right? Like, Stephen Mitchell utilizes yielding as the way of the Tao, but Huang says Tao functions by weakness. So yielding is the way of the Tao, or the Tao functions by weakness. And weakness, in this sense, this is 1948, so maybe yielding hasn't been broken as part of the language in terms of trying to express the opposite of strength or power. Because we were in such a space in 1948. We're in such a space of the head brain, right? The masculine head brain, and the Tao is very much seems to me to have been written at the birth of the spirit brain, at the birth of the next feminine, right? And yielding is the way of the feminine, and so yielding could be seen in 1948 as weakness. Right? And so that could be just a sense of the time that we were currently in, and the time and the experience that we had of consciousness at that moment. So the Tao moves by returning. Beautiful. The Tao functions by weakness, or we can utilize what Stephen Mitchell says: the Tao functions by yielding. And you yield to others, right? And this is a very different experience than we have today, especially when we start looking at how we want others to be. It's so easy for us to say, we want you to be something for me. Right? We want the government to be something for me. We want our neighbors to do something for me. Like, I am uncomfortable when you do these things. You have to change the way you are. And really, if you are in line with the Tao, you function in a way that is of yielding strength, right? You allow those who need that to be that, and you can yield that to them. This is really poignant for where like some experiences I'm going through right now. It's something that I'm really excited about, because I can't express to you how much each and every one of these Taos, whichever one you pick, will resonate so deeply with you. And if you want to come on and join me for a little bit and give me a number, I would be so excited to give you your Tao for the day and allow you the space to experience the magic that the Tao can offer you. All things under heaven are born of being. Being is born of non-being. Okay, so this is this is very kind of easy to understand, I think, and we'll see if we can get through this really kind of quickly. But I would love if anybody wanted to come on and join me to have you on. I can't just talk at myself forever, especially because this Tao is so short. But all things under heaven are born of being. And this, to me, talks about the manifestation. So things under heaven are born of being, meaning they are born within the manifestation. All things under heaven are born within the manifestation, right? It's all everything under heaven, everything that we can experience is born within the manifestation, right? It's all out here for us to see and to witness. Oh, Inma is here. Wonderful. And then being is born of non-being, meaning everything that is born within the manifestation is born from the Tao, which is of non-being. Inma, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, Martin. It's wonderful you are here again.
Yes, I love consistency, and I loved my Tao today. Super super short, but super poignant for my place right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard it, but it says return is the movement of the Tao, yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being, and being is born of non-being. And it was just so poignant for what's
Yeah.
going on in my life right now. And as you know, the Tao always speaks so much truth to us.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I love the yielding part.
Yes, yielding. Yielding has been a word for me that has been really resonating with me. And yielding is, we this yin energy, and we refer to that as feminine, and it's a part of me that I really adore. I love the feminine within me, and it is
Mm.
so beautiful, and it is something that, it permits me to cry, and it permits me
Yeah.
to feel, and I feel so deeply, so much more, I think, than many. And I think that feeling is a strength, even though it is also yielding.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
have a number for us today?
Yeah. It's 14. I was in the middle of work and then I saw that you were coming and I thought, oh, but I need to continue working. And then I just stopped working. And it's like, fine, I'm going to be with the Tao with you. And the number is 14.
Oh, so beautiful. Okay, so here's your Tao for today. Look, and it cannot be seen. Listen, and it cannot be heard. Reach, and it cannot be grasped. Above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark, seamless and unnameable. It returns to the realm of nothing, form that includes all form, image without an image, subtle beyond all conception. Approach it and there is no beginning, follow it and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life, just realize where you came from. This is the essence of wisdom.
Wow.
This is such a beautiful verse, and I love it because it reminds us that, in the beginning it starts with this: look and it can't be seen, listen it can't be heard, reach and it cannot be grasped. We as human beings think that everything can be explained,
Mm.
and the Tao is bigger than that. It isn't
Mm.
it isn't something that you can see. And I always like to say, if you can explain God in a book, well then that's not God. Like,
Mm.
and this is what the Tao is saying. Like, I'm bigger than that. What do you think?
Mm. Well, as he was saying there about reach, but it cannot be grasped apart from seeing and hearing. It was just, it was almost like a slap on my face in the sense that I've been kind of so focused on kind of trying to grasp and and do all those things that are kind of work related, that I've been neglecting my shamanic training and my shamanic
Mm.
practice. And when I was hearing you, I was thinking that I just need to reconnect with that. But
Yeah.
like in a bit of a, yeah, a bit of a slap, like saying, "What are you doing, woman?"
Yeah. and and when you want to reconnect with that, it's not something that you can do.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
it's not like you have to reach to reconnect. You
No,
are connected. It's about just being quiet and allowing that
yeah,
connection,
yeah,
yielding the strength
yeah,
to be able to be there.
yeah, yeah, and creating the space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, so beautiful. So above it isn't bright and below it isn't dark. And this is like heaven and hell. Heaven, like,
Mm,
this is like the earth within the earth, and
mm,
above in the sky. It isn't bright and it isn't dark. It is seamless and unnameable. It
mm,
returns to the realm of nothing. It's neither. Like,
mm,
we like to think of good and bad and evil and saintly or holy, but all of those things are
mm,
nothing. It's like they're
mm,
neither. Like,
mm,
You know, when we talk about the Tao, and you and I have talked about this extensively, this idea of labeling something as good or bad,
Mm,
but
mm,
they're not those things.
mm,
They just are.
mm. Completely. Mm,
So form that includes all forms. So this reminds me, so when I read my Tao for today, it was number 40, and it talked about, let me open it up really quick here. You picked 14, I have 40. So 40 said, all things under heaven are born of being. And in yours, we have this form that includes all forms, right?
mm,
So from the Tao, everything is manifest into the world. And
mm,
so everything, every object includes all objects because it is connected to the Tao.
mm.
So that's beautiful how like mine and yours are now reflecting each other.
Yeah,
And then in yours we have image without an image, right?
yeah,
Like a banana that we see isn't just a banana, it is all things.
yeah,
And I say banana because I'm looking at one.
yeah,
But it holds all, and so it is an image of the universe without just being that. Subtle beyond all
yeah.
conception. And so what we start looking at is like there is subtlety and depth in that banana, in that thing that I'm looking at. And you can't conceive it. You can't even imagine how subtle the energy is. Our
Mm,
connection, our ability to touch one another and even our ability to pick a number that is going
mm,
to speak to us right now.
mm. Yeah. And one of the things when you were describing the banana, it was almost like, well, what if we feel the banana within us? Because as you say, everything is interconnected and
Yeah.
everything emerges from the Tao. So it's not about seeing it or hear it, or even trying to grasp it. We can feel it in a kind of deeper sense.
We can be it, right? And
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can even like feel and be with other people.
yeah.
Like I can quietly sit here and connect with you
Mm.
and be there, right? And
Yeah,
I can just be there and hold that space with you.
yeah.
You
And
know?
I can feel that.
Yes, and it's right here with us, right? And this is what the Tao offers us. It offers us this possibility of feeling and touching and being with each other. And here on Wisdom, you and I can talk physically because you're speaking with your phone or your iPad or whatever, and I'm doing the same, and and we're here connected. But we are also deeply connected without that,
Yeah.
right? And we have to remember that. Like that's what this is saying. Above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark.
Mm.
Seamless and unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. When without this app, I can sit quietly and be
Mm.
with you.
Yeah,
Because every form includes all forms.
yeah.
So then it continues. It says, approach it, there is no beginning, follow it, and there is no end. This,
Mm.
this returns to the first three lines. Look and it can't be seen. Listen, it can't be heard. Reach and it can't be grasped. If you try to approach this, you're going to go back, 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 and you'll still not find the beginning. And if you
Yeah.
try and follow it to where you are, there's no end. It is all things. It is even within the lies we tell ourselves.
Mm. Mm.
And in that is so much beauty, and in that is so much depth of just experience.
Yeah.
You can't know it, but you can be it at ease in your own life.
And one of the things that I'm feeling in my body as I'm hitting parts of it is like a spiral inside my core.
Yeah.
And a spiral with no end and no beginning.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard the story of Kundalini?
Yes, yeah, I love Kundalini. Well, I haven't
Yeah.
heard the story. I do Kundalini
Well,
yoga.
it is just the
What's the story?
story of, yeah, it's the story of the Kundalini kind of coiling and rising. You know, it's a snake, and it sits in the root, in our root chakra, and it rises through our chakras as
Ah,
we so and it, you build that fire, and that snake rises through your chakra, and
ah,
that is, and because of its nature of being a snake, that spiral
yeah,
is very much a part of the Kundalini sort of experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
completely. I
And
try to do, yeah,
go on. No, please.
I try to do Kundalini yoga twice per week.
Oh, beautiful. Kundalini messed me up. I did Kundalini. I did Kundalini once, and now I had been sober for a long period of time, and I had a
Yeah,
friend of mine, Grace Joyner, show me, like, she was doing a class, and I
yeah,
had not done Kundalini, but I was part of a yoga studio, a Kundalini yoga studio, and I had not done Kundalini. And so I went to this class, and I did her class. It was like 45 minutes. I left. I drove to a friend's studio not far from where they were. I
yeah,
sat down, and I literally passed out. I didn't
yeah,
sleep, but it was
yeah,
kind of like I was on the
yeah,
knot. I was aware, but I was
yeah,
messed up. And
yeah.
and from that point, I did Kundalini for like 2 weeks every day. And then I
Wow.
decided, okay, I'm going to step away from Kundalini. I understand it. I know where it's going. This isn't something that I want to continue working with, whatever. But funny story, that Kundalini studio just brought me on as a healer with my portrait
Mm.
work and stuff. So I'm now associated with a Kundalini yoga studio.
Wow.
So that's very,
Wow.
yeah. So Kundalini is on the tip of my tongue, obviously. Um, yeah.
Wow.
So what it says here is, you can't know it, but you can be it at
Mm.
ease in your own life, right? You can't know, like, being easy in your life, because if you know it, then you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about your growth. You're thinking about the past. You're thinking about all of these things. But if you can
Mm.
just be here now
Mm.
and experience what you're experiencing, you can be at ease.
Yeah. And I'm now feeling that I think I got this number, this reading, also because I'm supposed to be doing some healing for a friend in Japan without any connection. I mean, without phone or without Zoom, nothing.
Yeah.
And then I guess I needed to hear this message because it was like, I need to connect with that, to connect with nothingness and everything, to be able to do whatever work is required of me.
That's right. You know, it's so important in healing, especially at a distance. You know, I mean, I do a lot of that. Like, I mean, I'm a Reiki master, but I also do other sorts of healing modalities. But it's so important to remember that you first have to go into nothingness
Yeah,
so that you can enter into everythingness,
yeah, yeah,
right? So nothingness, like, because that's nothing being born out of, right, like, and that returns us to the 40 that I picked today. Being is born of non-being. So you can be all things if you have the ability to not be something, right?
yeah,
You can approach it all from being nothing.
yeah, yeah,
Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom, and that's where you're at now. You have to just, like, that's what you're being asked to do. Realize where you come from, and you come from the same place we all come from. You and
yeah,
I are one. You and I are connected, and you are connected with your friend in Japan and every other light on this planet.
yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Martin, again.
Always, always.
Yeah,
It's so wonderful to have you.
thank you.
And yeah, keep in mind, look.
Yeah,
You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it
yeah,
if you look. You're not going to hear it if you listen, and you're not going to grasp it
yeah.
if you reach. But it is
No,
always there for you.
yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful day and
You
a
too.
million thanks again.
Much love to you.
Much love. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so Here we are. I have an open seat. Inma is always such a wonderful guest, and it's so much thanks for you for having jumped on. I really appreciate you and your insight and your artwork as well, Inma. Like, so beautiful. Every time I run across it on Instagram. So if anybody wants to come on and pick a number between 1 and 81, I would be excited to walk through a Tao with you. I have a couple translations open currently, and we'll see if anything resonates. I mean, maybe I can even open up a different translation of that 40. Here's a 2016 translation. Oh, here it is. Okay. So it's always good to be able to check out different translations because you never know exactly how you're going to interpret something. So here's 40 in this other translation. I'm not exactly sure which translation it is. It's Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, by Andrew Sade. I think that's how you pronounce it. Returning is the movement of the way. Weakness is used by the way. Oh. The world's things originate from existence. Existence originates from non-existence. So returning is the movement of the way. Weakness is used by the way. And the way under these, like the Tao, right? Like a lot of people, a lot of translations utilize Tao as way. But I feel like it is deeper than that. That's why I like the translation of Tao Te Ching as canon of reason, not the way of reason, because it's deeper than that. It is the essential, right? It is the essential way. So returning is the movement of the essential, right? Of the core, of the thing that is at the core of all things. Weakness is used by the core of all things, right? It's that yieldingness that Stephen Mitchell talked about. The world's things originate from existence, right? So that which exists creates. Right. This is about the manifestation, and you guys utilizing, like, how do I manifest a new car? How do I manifest some money? How do I manifest some motherfucking bullshit? Like the world's things originate from existence. You exist. You know you exist. Like I think, therefore I am. Like, you're all very good Cartesians. It's really great. Existence originates from non-existence. So you originate from non-existence, but the things, the manifestation originates from you, right? But if we go back to the first line, returning is the way, is the movement of the way. So if you want to create in this space of, the world's things, then you have to return to your non-existence. And like I was talking with Inma, she wants to be able to, in order to travel to a place of being everything, you have to travel through a place of being nothing. And that's one of the most important things to understand about, like, your meditation practice or other things that you're working with, is that getting through past the non-existence stage to the I am of all things place is a big step. Okay, if anybody wants to come on, pick a number between 1 and 81, I would be excited to host you and a conversation with you around that number. If you have a number within you, I'd be happy to entertain it. It's very, 37 popped out at me again. I don't know that I want to go through a second one for myself, but I could if nobody comes up, and I don't quite want to leave yet. So I'm going to read this and we'll go through it. So, this is just me, just taking as it comes and being present with what is. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. It's interesting. We just read that 40, and that 40 was saying that we are born of non-being and we do here in the world. All the world's things are done through existence, but the existence is done through the Tao. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. I've been saying this for a long time, like trying to control and get people and other things to be what we want them to be really gets in the way of the world being in natural flow. And if we could allow ourselves to center ourselves in this space of allowing, if yielding, like it said in 40 once again, right? Yielding is the way of the Tao. That's a big jump. We have to be able to yield, and we're moving into a time of yielding from a time of power, from a time of masculine strength. And so being able to yield is a big deal. So the world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. It would just heal. And that's what I want people to do. And that's why I work so deeply with people in the space of, in the space beyond the manifestation. Right. I don't care if your disease is still with you when we're done. You are going to be a better person. And as you become a better person, as you become, better is relative, but like better being like more connected to that within you, that is the Tao. People would be content with their simple everyday lives in harmony and free of desire. When we talk about things being free of desire, I think there's a misunderstanding there. I think a lot of people think, well, without desire, how am I going to achieve anything? Well, if you don't have anything to achieve, then nothing doesn't get achieved. Like, you get everything done, and that's how the Tao kind of lays itself out. And I think that's a really important aspect to understand, that your list of check boxes, your endless list of check boxes, doesn't do you as much good as maybe you believe it does. And so it's a big place to embrace, is this idea that maybe if you got rid of those check boxes, you would get more done. I'm not saying don't pay attention to what you're doing, but maybe it needs a little less than you think it does. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. Imagine if you didn't have anything that you wanted to get, how peaceful you would be right now. If you didn't have anywhere that you needed to be, if you didn't have anything that you wanted. This world, as it stands today, we look very, very, directly into this space of, like we want stuff, we want money, we want power, we want to sell things, we want to do things, we want to accomplish things, and it has gotten, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, it has gotten almost comedic how silly it is to want things. It's almost silly how much people want, and how much that want can really take over their lives. Even in mine. Like, there are things I want, and that's why it was so wonderful for me to kind of come across 40 today, because I got to experience like this space that I got to remember that returning is the movement of the Tao, not gaining, right? Yielding is the way of the Tao, not powering through, not being forceful, but it's yielding. There's going to be a small group of people that start here. That's going to grow. And we're all going to be able to eventually yield. The world is breaking records as to how fast it can try and reach for the next thing. I want to break a record as to how quickly I can yield my anger or my frustration. How quickly I can yield to, this isn't what I wanted, but this is what I have, and I'm grateful for it. Okay, I'm going to give everybody just another couple, I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 seconds to just come on and join me before I check out. I've been on for about a half an hour. I usually like to do these with 3 or 4 guests if I can. So if you want to join me, and we can talk a little bit about the Tao, and I can give you your Tao for the day. The Tao is a beautiful text, and it is one that I embrace every day. I don't always pick a Tao for the day, but it is something that I really enjoy doing when I do it. And between Mondays and Fridays, I get to share this with you, and sharing is caring, and it's something that I love to do. I love sharing the Tao with people. So if you have a number between 1 and 81 you want to share, come on, and we will talk about that verse. Well, with nobody coming up, I'm going to sign out. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll have 2 more days of Tao of the Day. I like to come on in the mornings, Central Time, so usually around this time sometimes a little later. Sometimes I'll come on in the afternoon if I have a busy morning, but I really enjoy sharing these with you. And next time you hear me, I hope you will come on and share a number with me, because it's, the Tao is to be shared. It's something that we can live together, and we can grow together understanding. Okay, well, my name is Martin John. This is a Recover Yourself production. I'm the host of the Recover Yourself podcast. Release episodes every Sunday, more or less, and would love to know more about you and where you're at in your recovery. And I always talk about what is it we're recovering to. So until next time, you guys keep recovering yourself. Love you.